And time has come, so we'll call the meeting to order. You received the minutes of the previous meeting via email. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Make a motion to approve as email.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the minutes as email. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, the proof of publication, make it a matter of record.
So moved.
Send that down. So, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Maybe Tyler.
Yeah, let Tyler see it quickly.
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to make the proof of publication a matter of record. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we've got various petitions before us this evening. Number one on the agenda, I think we'll just go down the agenda as it's listed, is J.S. Heck Properties. If the individual would like to state his name and tell us a little bit about the project, we'll let them go ahead, whoever wants to be the spokesperson.
My name is Josh Heck. We are requesting to build a 40 by 72 pole building. Basically, we're going to utilize this to build trailers that we have brought in on flatbeds and put custom ordered units in there out of the elements until the purchasers are picked up. We'll eventually utilize that as a service department down the road.
Okay, any questions from the board members? Commission members, I guess I should say.
Location is going to be towards the back of your property,
Yes, sir.
more in the southwest area? Or
It's going to be more towards, about straight back west.
straight?
Yeah, because I had to get a variance for the building to be so far away from the ditch.
And did you get that?
We sure did.
Okay, good.
Any further questions?
No, I just been out there a few times and they run a nice, clean operation. You really do.
Thank you.
You're doing, to me, you look like you're doing a super job. So.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a good use of an odd-shaped lot, and well, should be an advantage to your business.
Further questions, comments right now? If not, then we'll open it up to the public. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing no one. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing no one. Kurt, any questions or comments that you have?
I've reviewed everything he's brought forward, and I had no issue whatsoever. The only thing that was outstanding was the variance for the ditch, and he's been told by Paul Moore he's good.
Got that taken care of?
He actually has a copy of the variance with him, so if you need a copy of that.
I'll need a copy of it.
Okay.
Okay, any final questions, comments to the applicant? Hearing none? Ready for any action? Okay.
Was there proof of mailing to surrounding property
Oh, I'm
owners?
sorry, yes. Oh, I don't know that I have for that one, let's see. Sharon, was there proof of mailing for the affidavit? Here we go, I'm sorry. We need to make that a matter of record. The affidavit, I'm sorry, I tried to file everything by group and I missed one. Here's the affidavit, I'm sorry, Jim.
Pending making that a matter of record, I would like to make a motion that we consider this final site plan approval.
Okay, there's been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Yeah.
Okay, been a motion and second to accept pending the approval of the affidavit, make it be made a matter of record. make this the final plan site review. Are there any questions at this point? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Make that notification a matter of
Matter of record
record.
first.
Yeah, you
Okay.
better, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to make that a matter of record.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and second to make the affidavit of publication, or just the affidavit, a matter of record. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Now, back to the other motion. All in favor signify...
Could I ask a question first? Who is going to construct the building? Do you have somebody
Yes.
to put it up?
Yeah, Hilty Brothers.
Hildy Brothers? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now, are we ready for the question?
Sure.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Good luck. Thank you. Thank you.
Wait a minute, that was the, that was the approval of the final.
Right.
Okay.
Approved as final site plan.
Okay.
Need to get
Yeah.
the notification for...
Okay, there should be a,
The Wendy's is next. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah, this is one for Wendy's, the affidavit.
Do we have something other than just this?
You don't have it.
Okay.
It's just one here.
All right.
Tim's looking at it. Next on the agenda will be Wenco Indiana LLC, requesting site plan review for a new Wendy's at 409 North 13th Street, Decatur, reference city code 150.235 for a site plan review. As soon as we get the affidavit back for the rest of them to look at.
Well, I'm sure. Awful thorough.
I'm going to go ahead and pass these affidavits, then we'll be ready for the, how's that?
this is the next one on Casey.
Casey's affidavit,
Oh.
so you can look at those. Okay, do I hear a motion to adopt the affidavit of notice of public hearing for Wenco?
So move.
Motion been made, is there a second?
Second.
That motion been made to make it a matter of record. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Okay, representative from Wenco, Indiana LLC.
Hi, good evening. I'm Brad Irvin. I'm the project manager for Boxer Contracting Services representing Wenco, Indiana. We are their contractor for this franchise. And what we are proposing is what we consider a scrape and rebuild of the existing Wendy's location on 13th Avenue. I don't know what you have in front of you, but I have a couple different handouts. The building that's going in is a brand new design model for Wendy's. I believe, to my knowledge, it's the only design model in all of Indiana that will be going into Decatur, which will be great for Decatur, or the first one, I should say. The model is going to be just under 3,000 square feet. It will become more parallel to 13th Avenue. As you see it now, it's kind of diagonal right to that corner. So we're going to be turning it more parallel, which will give a lot more drive-through access and accessibility for that site overall. Some of the dimensions of some of the facades that we have on the building, we have ACM panels, we have a standard dark bronze storefront, some EPIS material, some rib corrugated siding, and some other metalwork going across the top of the building. It is about an 86 occupant building. We are going to do selective demo when we are going through and handing out all the affidavits for signatures and letting the community know. One of the options we're looking at is try to keep the dust down. We have two car parking lots of car auto sales, one to the north and one to the west. And as you can see from the site plan, this is a selective demo, which we're going to keep a lot of the asphalt in place and just kind of keep our demo right around to the shape of the building, which will keep down that dust atmosphere. So we are, as you can tell, very open to the public and what their comments are. I believe it was all very well received. And tonight we're just looking for your approval so we can get this underway by the middle of July.
Okay, questions?
What's the current occupancy right now?
I believe it's just under 99. So
And
it's going to be a little bit smaller, but the design,
I gotcha.
design is more narrow. It's going to be open to deck ceiling. It's a whole different concept, and I'll be more than happy to share this with you if you'd like.
I actually looked at them
Okay.
previous.
Okay. And it's really surrounded for the community. You have a lot of communal seating. You have a lot of communal seating. You have a lot of atmosphere that brings a lot of the guests and staying there. You're going to have a Wi-Fi bar. It's going to be a lot more improvements than what you have today in the Wendy's store today.
Do you lose any, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
do you lose any parking spaces by the reconfiguration of the?
No.
Okay.
Are you going to use the current one while that's being built?
No, this is
Okay.
going to be totally shut down for 90 days, and usually it's our construction period is 90 days.
It might be an odd question, but since you face two different highways or have access and they to you, will there be any problems with traffic while you're doing this?
No, because what we'll end up doing is taking trucks in one and out the other so we don't congest 13th Avenue. That would be our point of contention there.
That's a good deal.
Now, and my memory serves me right, the curb cuts will remain the same
That is
to
absolutely
both
correct.
highways.
That's correct.
So, and
We wanted to keep the site what it is. We wanted to update the building and bring this new concept to Decatur by doing this.
I will say that the completeness of the plans was very refreshing,
Thank you.
that the details were all there, all of the lighting and the landscaping. It was a very, very complete package.
Thank you. And kudos to Kurt and Sharon, too. They've been wonderful to deal with.
Good.
Any other questions at this point? If not, we'll go to the public. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Seeing none, is there anyone here to speak in favor of? Seeing none, we'll go to the board's final questions and comments. Tim, is there anything Kurt, anything you need to?
No, I actually like the new design, and I've read every word in that packet. I know the details inside and out, and actually the new drive-through is going to be a lot less congested than what the current one is now.
That coming out on 224.
Yeah, I would agree.
The way you laid that out, yeah.
The traffic flow is much improved.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further comments, questions?
This is planning and the city board. Are we okay for a final site plan on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to make this the final site plan?
Did we approve the affidavit on this one?
Yes, we did.
We did?
Yes.
Good.
That's why I handed out the other one so it could be ahead.
Okay, sure.
Is there a motion to make it a final site plan?
I'll make that motion, sure.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to make this presentation a final site plan. Any questions? Comments? Now's your chance. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. You can get started. Did you say by the middle of July you want to get started?
Yeah, right now it's end of July 17th, but it's all dependent on when the client wants to shut down and all that good stuff. But right now, tentative date.
And for 30 days we have, or for 90 days
90
we have to
days.
do without Wendy's.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not a good thing.
But you know, when they do reopen, they will come to you guys and we'll have a grand opening and it'll be a nice event for Decatur.
Well, good. Thank you.
And then thank you.
Thank you and good luck.
To the company for their confidence in our community and the investment in our community.
I will pass that along. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on now. The third item this evening is Casey's Marketing Company, 1 Southeast Convenience Boulevard, Ankeny, Iowa, requesting site plan review for new Casey's General Store, 1320 West Adams. Refer to City Code 150.235, site plan review. And we have the proof of publication, or the affidavit that has been passed around. Is there a motion to make
It
the...
didn't make it down here.
Oh, it didn't make it down there? Or did it stop? Oh, did it get stopped here? I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Poor Tyler.
Want to pass it both ways, I guess. Senior moment. I was trying to look ahead. Okay, now, do I hear a motion to make the affidavit of notice a matter of record?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Okay, Casey's Marketing Company.
My name is Pat Moon. I'm with Farnsworth Group. I'm the civil engineer of record for Casey's on this site. With me is Matthias Smith. He's with Casey's as well. What we've got for approval in front of you is a new Casey's General Store in the city of Decatur. It's an approximately 4,600, 4,700 square foot store with fuel sales. It's a newer prototype for them. I'm not sure if any of it has been built, but there's a few under construction and under approvals. It's going to have its traditional pizza and sub sales. It's got a donut shop, all the drinks and convenience as well. A couple of things to note on this site. Access is proposed off of Adams Street. DOT did not allow any access off of the state route. It's a limited access road. They also had concerns with regards to the railroad to the south, so they had us look at all access off of Adams Street. We did do a traffic study. It was submitted to the city and to the DOT for review. DOT had no comments or anything. They felt that the proposed entrance is going to be adequate enough to not provide or promote any impact on the state route. So it was approved on their behalf, and I think I sent the information yesterday to you on that. Again, it's just we're here for any comments, questions, concerns you may have, things we can address, and Matthias here to answer any questions in regards to the operation of the store.
Questions?
My first question is actually an observation and a compliment on the on-site retention of surface water drainage. That was really nice to see that in the plan, so we would know how that was taken care of. I do have a question about where your tank farm, and that might be the wrong word, where the access to that is and how your tankers will come in. Is there adequate room for a tanker to get around the end of that canopy?
There is. They're going to come in this way, and then they'll end up circling around. The entrances are traditionally around 35 foot when they have two access points. So there's only one access point in this. We're requesting a 45 foot wide drive so they get in and out. But this is actually bigger than most of the sites that I deal with. So we've done truck turn movements through here to make sure they work on the smaller sites. So I don't have any concern with the trucks getting in and out adequately. There's usually, depending on how the fuel sales go, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's maybe 3 or 4 deliveries a week for for fuel, and the same for groceries, and then you'll have your...
1 week for...
1 week for groceries, and then you'll have your, like, potato chip and Pepsi and so forth coming in on a periodic basis. And they have smaller trucks.
Is there going to be diesel? I mean, there's been questions about, is this a truck stop? And from what the plans show, it is not.
It's not a truck stop. Generally, when we actually do a truck stop, we have a separate island for diesel sales. I don't know if they put, diesel on the end pumps on this, for smaller commercial vehicles and, those kind of things. I don't think they've decided on that yet.
Let's just look at
Yeah, they generally, operation side of things will kind of come up with that when they get a little bit closer to the store opening. But no, it won't be a built for commercial vehicles for trucks to fuel, except obviously you have some farm trucks and those kind of things, that, diesel pickup trucks, those kind of things. That I think we might carry diesel just for that, but it's not for semis now.
Okay, because that was an ingress and egress question about what that was going to do, especially on Adams Street.
Yeah.
If it was a truck stop, but it's a different format.
Yeah, it's just basically regular fuel, like you see a regular gas station, but just like they would put diesel sometimes on their end pumps for those pickup trucks.
So it's a convenience store that sells fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you going to keep semis out?
I don't know that we can keep them out per se, but generally, they're going to go somewhere where they can get in and out a little easier. They're not going to, try to fuel up somewhere where it's more difficult to fuel up and down the road. Generally speaking, we don't really have a problem with semis trying to fuel up at our stores that, causing any kind of problem there.
Okay.
That was all the questions I had.
Okay, anyone else, any questions?
I would just like to make one suggestion while you're in communication with IDOT. I would strongly consider the traffic light there at the corner to make that a little more pleasant for your customers, because it is the way they have it set up right now, coming out of Adams Street onto 13th Street.
It's pretty long. I was there this morning, or this afternoon.
Yeah.
Sat there for a walk.
And you have to wait half the day.
Exactly.
There was an attachment to the information sheet from Sharon that listed the timings, and state says they're not going to change them.
Those timings are not correct.
Okay, they're not.
Well, I understand that, Greg. What I'm just saying, you can, after you're in business, do traffic studies also, and
Yeah, we've done that. Well, the store we put in Franklin, Indiana, they redid their traffic light after we got open there. And it was generally one of those things where we open and then, I think it does go through the city generally, where the city has to ask us to look at it as well. But I know that's what we did in Franklin. They changed that timing after we got open, and we could prove that the timing wasn't working.
Yeah, and we'll fully cooperate with you on that. Definitely will. So.
Yeah, what we've got in here is the average delay. If you're sitting there and it just turns red, you're going to sit there for about 30 to 35 seconds waiting for it to change. So.
Yeah, in Decatur,
You
there's a
say
lot.
those numbers aren't right?
The numbers are not right.
I sit there longer than
Those are the average, but
Yeah,
Okay.
but we'll talk to them about it and see what they say.
exactly. It would, as you come out of your future store and head south, you'd have no problem. Turn on red,
Well, we'll talk to them again, but
Sure.
like Matthias said, when the store's open.
It was
they're
just a
not really
suggestion,
Yeah.
so, or something that you may want to keep in mind.
Any further questions? Okay, Kurt, anything that you have input?
You're talking later on, you might decide to put in diesel fuel. Where will those tanks be located on the property? No, there's no plan right now to put in, diesel as far as putting in diesel pumps or any different tanks. The only thing I guess would be is if they decided, all of our tanks are divided, you could add it to those.
I don't have a large way, but the tanks are divided out, and if they decide they want to have diesel cells on it, they would just take one of those components and just
Okay. So
Section
they
it
won't
off.
have to drop another...
No new construction. Basically what we do is when we open up a store in any town, we'll either start with a premium fuel or diesel and see how it sells and kind of decide which way we want to go based on those sales. So,
So it's just a matter of replumbing.
yeah, all it really is emptying out the one, filling out the other, and changing some buttons on the pumps, and it's pretty easy.
Okay. I lost my thought. I did ask for opposing, didn't I?
No, you're not there yet.
I haven't? Okay.
You just work
Okay,
forward.
then we'll work, see, I lost my mind. Now we'll go to anyone wishing to speak in opposition.
Good evening, my name is Candy Baker, and my address is 5221 North 400 West in Decatur. We own the property directly west of the site that the county put the Casey's on. I guess we're not in opposition to it being there, but we have owned that property for quite a long time. It's been in the family for a while, so we would just, our concern would be like the lighting and just the traffic. If there could be maybe a privacy fence in between the business and our residents, that would be greatly appreciated. I didn't know if that was a possibility.
Yeah, we can put a privacy fence on that. That's no problem.
Okay, thank you so much.
The lighting plan that was included with the drawings that were submitted showed that the lighting was focused on their property. There were light packs on the back of the building, and I don't remember what the rating was on those light packs on the back. But generally, those are shining down as opposed to out.
Yeah, they're just curious. Someone had to walk out behind the store at night. And pretty much all of our lighting, recessed lighting, we use LED, so we don't have much light pollution at all. But as far as the fence, that's something we pretty commonly do. It's not something we always put on the plan to begin with. We want to make sure it's something, the city wants or the residents want around it. But if that's something, we can go ahead and add that. That's fine.
Thank you so much.
Okay, your wish is their desire. Any further opposition? Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of? Hearing none, then final questions and comments from the commission members.
What's your timeline?
As far as getting construction started, as soon as we close, generally a week or two, we get construction started on it. I think what else we have to wait on this one.
Oh,
I think
you got the state release yet?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. This one should be fairly soon. I think by the time we get here to these meetings, we've covered most of the things we've got to get through. So yeah.
First date, August 1st.
Yeah, I'd probably say yeah. Probably late summer, and it'd probably be built by depending on weather, we get it built probably sometime this winter. By I don't know.
It's a 3 to 4 month build, depending on weather.
Yeah. So I mean, sometime late fall, early winter probably.
Okay. Thank you.
And are you the person involved in the one building in Geneva also?
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know how it's coming along, if it's up or running?
Actually, I think it's open. It showed up on their website.
Okay.
So once it shows up on the website, it's open for business.
Okay. Okay, curious.
I might add that I visited a few cases on the way to Colorado,
Good.
and nice facilities. I would say that, because I've stopped at a few, and when you go to one, you kind of look for a Casey's on the way down.
And every new one we build is a little bit nicer.
That's good.
Well, and I think this is going to be a nice facility for those that bring their Fleetwood vehicles for repair. Nice and close for them to get something to eat and so forth. So I think that'd be a handy little thing for them. Otherwise, they're kind of out of ways from things.
I just have one question for you before you acted. So the only thing we need to do so far is add a screen fence onto the site plans, and then get those submitted, full set of plans back into you guys, and we're good to go. How many copies are you going to need?
3 sets.
3 sets? Okay.
3 full sets.
Okay.
Have you actually closed on the property yet?
No, we go through all the due diligence before we close.
Anything else? Can we make this the final site plan, Kurt, or
Yes.
in your judgment? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do we have to put the fence on there?
I don't know if we have to put the fence
No,
on, since he agreed to it right
It would
away.
be approved
with that.
With that condition.
with that condition.
And probably with the condition that you actually close on
Close on the
purchase of the
property.
property.
Okay. Is that okay to make that a part of your motion?
Yes.
Is there a second now to the motion?
Second.
Motion been made and second to make this a final site plan regarding making certain that the fence is included and the closing is completed on the property. Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It's passed. You can go ahead and get started.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get your closing done on the property and get started. Okay, is there any other old business? New business. I see the names of Brad Logan and Greg Logan. Division of Properties on North 8th Street.
It's a good thing they brought Adam.
Sharon, did you get those? Sure.
Yeah, I'll make that comment too. It's a good thing you brought Adam. Because your reputation's a secret.
Just came out of jail.
We had another attorney who had that job.
Okay, let you go ahead and get started.
They have recently purchased the property on A Street. It's behind Bill Miller's on the same side of the street. What all was it in the past?
Lamar
Taylor's, sandblasting, advanced painting. And what they would like to do is divide this up into, and I hopefully you all got a copy of that, plat that Bill Wimhoff has prepared. So it would be to divide these into 5 different tracts, kind of like small cottage industries. This is an I-2 zoned area.
Does it include the tank farm?
No,
Okay.
does not. And as you can see on the plat that Bill prepared, there's an easement that goes back so that there's access from back behind, which is actually up against the railroad.
Adam, these are platted lots through there, are they not?
Yes.
So what you
The
would
thing is,
do...
on the end, I think they actually go the other direction. There's several that go that same direction, and in the ends, they go along.
They go along.
Yeah.
Okay. I know in the past, we've allowed properties to be split, where a lot is, a portion of it sold off. But usually we require provision in the deed that once that's done, that you can't, that property has to be sold with the adjoining property. In other words, because what you're going to have a legal description of this lot plus a portion of that lot. So when you split this little portion of this lot over and add it, then we require that kind of a restrictive covenant in the deed.
That's not a problem at all. So.
Okay.
Well, and with industrial zoning, there's no side setback requirements. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So that surprised me when I found out that we did not have a side setback, because those buildings are in very close proximity to each other.
Now, one of the things that I think came up was because of the closeness of the buildings, if it were new construction, we would require fire-rated walls because of the proximity of buildings and the fear that fire here could go over to this one. These buildings already exist, so, you know, if you're going to do something like this, you may want to just grandfather in what you have, but if there's any significant improvements, then it would need to be brought up to code at that point.
It's basically going to depend on after you sell each lot, what's going to move in there, what's going to be the new occupancy use. You know, am I going to have a paint booth here and then a dress shop here?
No, and it's industrial zoning, so each use is going to have to be approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals by special exception.
Right.
No matter what, even if it's all one
Yes.
parcel,
Right.
whatever, it's got to approved it.
Right, and that's really done for safety purposes, so that, emergency response personnel know what they're going to be getting into once they go to the building. If you got somebody that's doing, has paint solvents or things like that, or that are highly flammable, they need to know that before they go in, because they're going to have to respond differently, depending on the materials that they run into.
And depending who's interested in it, it might be that 2 or 3 of these are sold together to one purchaser, but this gives the ability for smaller industries or businesses to want to.
Right. Yeah, I think the issue was, and I'm glad we had time that you could just come in now instead of meeting afterwards, but the issue was, where we're going to require this to be platted out as a subdivision. In essence, that's what they're doing. They're dividing this up into 5 parcels. But, given the fact that you've got existing buildings, it's not new construction that would go in. If you're comfortable with allowing this without going through that process, it just speeds it up. It's less costly to Brad and Greg, but
So we can make sure that we do have that language in any deed that says that it can't be sold separately from,
right.
If we divide it a lot, we're processing existing property lines.
And for the benefit of the buyer, and so that they understand they need to come before us for a special use exception, you may want to make sure that in the purchase agreement, they understand that the intended use has to be approved.
Now, at one time there was a railroad spur that came alongside of those buildings. Who has that easement? That spur's been gone for a while, but that's where Lamar used to clean out tankers for Central Soya.
I think that's still railroad property though. I think, the way it looked, looked like it was still part of the railroad. And we asked Bill, and that's what Bill said too, that it appears that that's still railroad property back there.
Okay.
And since that's an active road, we've got one or two left.
Any further questions, comments?
I would like to clarify exactly what the request is.
The request is to allow the split as proposed without the necessity of going through a plat of a subdivision.
So they don't have to create a subdivision. Okay.
Right.
Basically grandfathering in.
And then grandfathering in the location of the existing buildings with the understanding that if there's significant improvements or expansion of the buildings, then the buildings would need to be brought up to code at that point.
And Bill did say there are no encroachments of any of these buildings. So the lines that he has created, there is no overhang or anything that's encroaching across, they're close.
Mm-hmm. And then you do have an ingress-egress easement that allows for access to the backside of the buildings, and
Correct.
Any further discussion?
Does this have to be advertised?
well, it doesn't in the sense that if you're doing a plat, then obviously you do. Now, if you, and the issue is, the adjoining property owners, I mean, the safe thing to do would be to do that, but that's delaying this because now you're talking another meeting. That's up to you guys.
I guess the concern is if one of the adjoining property owners comes back at a later date when they see something happening and
Right.
challenge it.
Mm-hmm. How soon are you planning on moving on this?
We already started we already put new roofs on the buildings.
Okay, but
We're blighted there, we want to fix one up at a time.
that, if we advertised what you're proposing, it's really more a protection to you guys, to be honest, because if you sell off one of these, somebody could possibly argue that they were not given adequate notice, of what you were doing and argue that they didn't have an opportunity to be heard. By doing it that way, then it insulates you from that being raised at a later time. So I don't know if it's going to unduly delay you. That's my question. If we, Sharon, would we be able to get this on the agenda
For the July 5
for the
meeting?
July 5th meeting? I mean, it's just a matter of giving notice to surrounding property owners. If anybody has a question or an objection, they can come in, but, you know, I think, at that point, the board could take action and just approve the splits as you're proposing and move forward unless there's some legitimate reason raised at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a wonderful investment in that area.
Yeah.
As you said, it was blighted. I just want to make sure that it's documented correctly and we don't have something come back
Yeah.
and create problems for all concerned.
I would recommend it. I think it's a safer way to go if it's not going to mess you guys up in terms of a timetable, so.
And if you have any kind of discussion with the neighbors, your retort is, we're improving the area. We're taking something that wasn't, maybe, you know, wasn't up to code or whatever, and we're improving that property. So that, I think that would be the best selling point.
Okay. Any questions from you guys? Yeah, Adam?
Did you take care of the advertising on that? How's it
We'll do the advertising, we'll just advertise
advertises,
review of a proposed development or,
all right.
yeah, proposed improvements.
Didn't that used to be a fuel storage along there above ground?
I think those are to the south of this.
Yeah, they're adjacent to that.
They're still there. They're further north.
Or
They're
north.
further north, yeah.
Okay, I thought you was coming right up to it.
Yeah, when you said that behind Bill Miller's, it makes it sound like it's right next.
Yeah.
It's actually property.
Yeah, the
between
tank farm is in there. Is that an active tank farm? Are they still using that?
They're there every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know
Bing
that.
Gallagher, I think, started Goodyear in one of those buildings. Put us on there. Been a long time ago.
Okay, so we will see you July 5th.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your investment. Thank you for pursuing it through proper channel.
Okay, the next item is the emergency mobile tech 107 South First Street.
Technically struck from the agenda.
Okay.
I've got a couple things when you
Okay.
get done with what's on the agenda.
I'll just, then the next meeting will be Wednesday, July 5th for Meadows of Cross Creek Phase 2, subdivision preliminary plan preview, and then also Brad and Greg will be on the agenda then on the 5th. So, okay, Tim, we'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Okay. Find my notes here. Maybe we've covered them. Oh, the first thing is, Dean Filling called the letter of credit on the Cross Creek roads. It'll be a year that those were paved on June 26th, so he's drafted a letter requesting the city to sign it that basically authorizes the letter to be released at that point. He needs that for his files because the bank examiners want something documenting it. So it would actually be something that's going to be approved by the Board of Works, but I'm bringing it to your attention because it's something that the Plan Commission initially required. Unless there's any objection on your part. The one thing that I had a question for Kurt, and Kurt's the one that actually raised this earlier, but with this new development, are construction trucks going to be coming in on the road that this letter of credit protects?
No. Unless they're gonna come in the back way.
Whoa.
I mean, which that takes it all the way through. And those people out there are gonna, there's no way.
So when we do the new development, are they required to put up a letter of credit for the final pavement of the roads?
For the new development?
Mm-hmm.
I would think so if it's not completed, but then they still have phase 3 further west that they anticipate building.
Like I say, my memory of that was we deferred to the city street department that if after a year it had met the standards, then we would waive the requirement for the bonding.
Correct.
Now, if the city has accepted those roads and is responsible for them, if the contractors damage them, the city should have recourse to come back and make the contractors fix it, shouldn't they?
Well, we're gonna put them on notice that if construction trucks go over what is now our city streets and damage
But wouldn't that
curbs-
be the situation at any time?
Well, it should be, yeah. Yeah, it's just
I mean,
that
if
we
you
don't
have-
have any, we wouldn't have any direct protection in the form of a letter of credit. We're relying on the contractor or the developer to repair the street.
To restore it to the condition that it was prior to the construction?
Right.
And they've got several vacant lots out there in that area right now.
Well, aren't they gonna have to establish a line of credit?
They are on the new
For the new
section.
section?
And what I would suggest, since
Maybe
they're gonna have to do
incorporate-
that we bump that up a little bit just to
Exactly.
protect it.
That would be my thoughts also.
But that would be from the Board of Works, or would that still come back to the Plan
That's
Commission?
gonna be the plan commission, because I think initially the plan commission is the one that requires a letter of credit, because in the approval of the development plans, they say they're not gonna put the final code on it until most of those lots are constructed, and that's why we require, as part of the approval, that they post a letter of credit.
Okay, and also the recorder's office has not confirmed that the streets were dedicated to the city yet. So
Okay.
what's the time or the process or the steps? Do they dedicate it first before the city accepts it?
Yeah, they should. Yeah.
So we need to get-
Basically, that's saying, we offer it to you and then the city accepts it.
So we need to get a
But
hold of Steve Cree to have...
That's
him
not gonna move
dedicated?
forward unless somebody asks for it to be
Right.
done, or
What I'll
requires
do-
it to be done.
I don't know if Scott Ainsworth in our office does that. I doubt that he's done it in the past. I don't know if he would or if Mike Blee, but one of the two will probably do a dedication of the streets if that wasn't done. A lot of times the developers will dedicate the streets as part of the recorded plat at the time that's recorded. But if that wasn't done,
Yeah, she hasn't found it. She found where the sewers were dedicated to the
Okay.
city, but not the street.
then we need to get that done.
So is that something you'll pursue? with
I'll
your-
make a note to,
Okay.
So do we need a motion,
I guess, are you
make it a matter of
comfortable?
record?
Yeah, I think at this point, if you're okay with the release of the letter of credit as of June 26th, then we'll have the Board of Works sign that.
Okay, do I hear a motion? Or do you have questions first? I should have.
Yeah, I'm still confused. So, Plan Commission's gonna release their requirement, and Board of Works is going to
Then
implement.
sign the letter that actually is sent to the bank that releases.
That would be the second. Okay, or the replacement.
That's why I'm bringing
The
to you
replacement.
first, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second letter of credit is something that will come to the Plan Commission when you review the Phase 2 plans.
Yes. Okay.
Okay?
Okay, do I hear a motion to reduce that then as of June 26th, 2017?
So the first letter of credit would be released,
Release.
and upon submission and review of the plans on July 5th, a new
That
one.
would be.
Is going to be
gonna be
required if
required.
they're not going to put the final code on, which
Okay.
we don't want them to do anyway.
And I think we should cover ourselves in case the road, feeding in there, Tiger's Trail,
If we get more trucks going through there, they're gonna tear that road.
Tiger's Trail will have to
Because,
establish
yeah,
some.
that doesn't have the thickness of
Well,
the
and-
subsurface or the pavement.
And in the approval of the plans, you can add as a condition
Right.
that they're responsible for any repair of damage to the existing road.
Restoration of the existing roads that are already deeded to the city.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so do I hear a motion that we,
And I think we may want to insist, like we did last time, that they put signs up at the entrances on Woodward Drive off of Washington. We did this when they were constructing Meadows Cross Creek to direct the trucks not to come through that area. And then Steve will have to make sure that the contractors kind of abide by that, follow that.
Will that require them to put an access road in?
Well, sometimes that's what you see in development.
Yeah.
They actually have a construction entrance where
Yeah,
it's not coming in off of the road.
Could that be a requirement?
You could, I don't know where they would do it.
No, I mean,
Yeah, it seems intrusive.
backyard.
Probably be cheaper to just put another top coat on
Okay.
and go along with it.
The only reason I mentioned that is because we did that last time. That the truck traffic and contractors did not come through the existing addition, that they had their entrance on off of Pickle Road, or I mean Winchester Road, and they did. Steve and them did put signs up at the entrances to the other addition.
Did the contractors abide by that?
Yeah, there was.
You live out there, right?
Yeah, there
So
was a
you would
few
be-
that
There
slipped
were a
by.
few that came in.
But you could see Steve was telling them that, you know, they were, yeah.
I think a couple times John got calls, and so he got a hold of Steve and said, hey, you got
Enforcement
construction,
issues.
enforce
Okay.
it. And typically that seemed to take care of it.
Right.
So that third phase though is to the west. So how are they gonna get to that?
Yeah, they're gonna have to go through part of the residential area.
Yeah, they'll have to come off of Winchester Road to get to that.
Exactly. They'll come in Tiger's Trail there.
To me, it's just, should be the opposite. You start at the far end and you work.
I think it was the acquisition of property.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
They
know.
couldn't get the property they wanted all it.
whatever.
Yeah.
Did we make a motion?
No, we have not had a motion to release the letter of credit as of June 26, 2017.
Hey, I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second to release the letter of credit as of June 26, 2017. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, anything else, Jim?
We covered the Logan split, the Cross Creek we just talked about, and then the emergency mobile tech, you said it is off.
So that's something you and I can discuss.
Okay. That's where the potential of sprinkling the building?
Yeah, he hit me up, he wanted to add to that building, and I can argue with the state right now that the way it's set up, it's a 6,000 square foot building, but I think I can argue enough that the front office, the restrooms, the lobby area would take 1,000 square feet off of that building. But if he decides he wants to put that 3,200 square foot room addition in the center and connect the garage to the main building, he's gonna have a sprinkler.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta be sprinkler.
What if he does a standalone building? Can he do that?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if there's anything, depends on, you know, how big of a building it is, how are they gonna look at it as far as, you know, the
Any
cost-
discussions we've had about that in the past have always been deferred to the state.
Right.
Right.
Well, I think at this point, you know, if it's something that requires them to put in a sprinkler system, I'm guessing it's pretty expensive and it may deter them from pursuing that. It's kind of like what happened with Eckert's Woodworking out there at the Baker and Schultz facility when they found out they had to sprinkle that building. It killed the deal. So,
And there again, a lot of times, for what you pay for insurance on the building, if you sprinkler it, it reduces the price of the insurance, and sometimes it, over a certain period, pays for itself also.
You have to do that in an all-cement building?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't make any difference
It
there.
falls under repair garage.
Yeah.
And the codes stipulate that ranch-style building over 5,000 square feet must have a sprinkler system in it.
In our construction, where I work, the payback for the insurance was like 132 years. That
Was it?
Yeah.
yeah, it's a long time.
It was a long time for the
I
reduction.
know the woodworking was a little different.
Yeah,
So, yeah, okay.
yeah, and it had to do with the definition of combustible versus flammable and being able to sustain flame and that type of thing, and what our use was. It was 132 years.
Wow. Jeez.
That's the reason why they wrote it out of the residential code. At one point, the residential code was making it mandatory for a sprinkler
For sprinklers,
system in
yeah.
all new construction. And there's maybe 2 states in the entire country that have adopted that, Maryland being one, because that's the home of the NFPA, and Las Vegas being the other. That's the second home of the NFPA.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Anything else?
I don't know, the mayor threw so many emails at me in the last couple of days, I gotta see if there's anything else. I just printed them off.
Well, just wanted to, while Ken's digging, make a notice to everybody that the next meeting is on Wednesday because of the 4th of July. So if it's on your calendar as a Tuesday, it's not gonna work.
But if we show up on Tuesday, there's fireworks.
Ah. When we shut down Decatur for a half hour, 45 minutes totally.
Yeah.
Nobody's going anywhere.
Okay,
Well, stay home anyway.
one other thing, the, North Adams is gonna be soon undertaking a $33 million construction project out at the high school. The issue came up whether the city could or would waive or reduce its permit fees and inspection fees for that project, given that it's a governmental entity. So, you know, first of all, they asked Kurt to do it, and Kurt said, well, do I have authority? And I said, no. And so we talked it over with the mayor, and Ken sent out a kind of a listserv inquiry to see what other communities have done, and he's gotten 5 or 6 responses now. In some cases, the city's just flat out said no, they're not going to waive it. In others, there was a reduction, but there was never a complete waiver. So I'm not sure, and I don't know if Kurt can really say at this point what kind of fees we're looking at, but if we can do a rough calculation, it might be helpful, because, you know, if we're talking $10,000 or $20,000 fee versus a $200,000 fee, you know, then you know, do we give a discount because it's a governmental entity? The flip side of that is, once you do it, you open up a can of worms, because then does everybody request it?
Okay, let's look back 10 years to the hospital. What happened when the hospital was built?
What's in the county?
It was in the county.
Okay,
Same thing with the jail.
all right. I knew the jail, but I didn't know where
Yeah, the
the
hospital.
hospital.
Right. So this size of project is probably the first that we've faced. Probably the last big project, and again, I don't know if it was in the city or not, Walmart and then Fleetwood would be
No,
the
those would be the 2 big ones that I
two big
remember.
ones.
what did we do at the junior high?
I don't know.
That's 20 plus years ago.
probably so.
It's
So
hard to
I
believe,
don't
but-
know that the fee schedule's probably changed since then.
Yeah, I don't think the fees were that high back then.
Right. So, I guess the thing that we need to look at is what would the fee be? And, the waiver of it, since the fees are established by county council by ordinance, it probably would be a recommendation from the planning commission to council, but council would be the one that makes a decision.
And those fees were all amended a year and a half
A couple
ago.
years ago.
Yeah, when we got the new ordinance.
Right.
Tim, one problem we have is we've not seen any plans,
Well, we've seen one plot plan.
and the architects are calling in and wanting to know about permit fees so they can add it to their budget.
Mm-hmm.
But without seeing the plans, we have no way of calculating or even estimating what permit fees would be.
And that's going to be based on square footage.
Couldn't you just give the architects the square footage permit fees?
They got the calculation. The one contractor, the one architect said it would be close to 100,000.
So it'd be a little over 100,000.
in fees?
And then if it's attached, we can count it, new construct, well, as an addition to, which is a little bit cheaper fee schedule than new construction independent building. So, but either way, it's going to be solved.
Mm-hmm.
So is the city going to have independent engineers and architects look at it? Will there be fees associated with that?
That's what, we certainly don't want to waive or reduce the fee below a certain level that we are now going to incur expenses to do what we need to do. Those fees should be more than sufficient to cover any costs that we have related to doing inspections, and if that means hiring somebody outside to come in and assist with that, then that cost should be covered. I know that Mayor McKean indicated that when South Adams did their project, they did not waive the fee, in part because the school benefited many citizens in the unincorporated areas. They weren't city residents. So their position was, because in North Adams, that would be true, because you have...
We're subsidizing.
Right,
Okay.
so then the issue is, are we subsidizing those residents at the expense of ours? So, there's different arguments to be made here. I'm not saying that you shouldn't consider a discount. I don't think you should waive a fee, but if you want to consider a discount, you can.
Well, the fee structures were increased because we were subsidizing a lot of construction projects,
But
a
that
lot of
was a
development projects.
subsidization out of general property tax revenues versus user fees. And so, because general property tax revenues were reduced as a result of the tax caps, we shifted that liability over to user fees where it really
Okay.
should have been. So, just giving you a heads up that that's an issue.
What's their timeline?
Well, they're asking
They're
now.
pushing now.
Yeah.
They
So-
want to get started.
If you are comfortable in making a recommendation to council after this discussion, you certainly can, but ultimately, council is the one that's going to have to decide.
I don't have a vote.
The businessman in me says there's no way I'm going to offer a discount until I understand what the costs are.
We don't even have any plans or anything, do we?
What she said.
Well, Sharon, if you said that the one architect said that it could be nearly 100,000, is that
I
correct?
think he's right. If it's 33 million, that means he would be paying $33,000.
About what, 1%?
Yeah. It'd be about $33,000. If it's a 32, he didn't give us a quote on what it was going to cost. So if you're saying it's $33 million, $3 for every 1,000, that's $32,000.
Well,
Does square footage have something to do with it?
Well, that could be too.
I mean, some of this isn't new construction, some of
It'd be
it is
99,000, wouldn't it?
remodel.
some of it's remodel, some of it's expansion. There's going to be a walkway that ties the new building to the middle school, as I understand, an enclosed walkway, but it's not.
Should we try to meet with the firm that was selected?
Well, they've got three design teams.
I was say, do they have a construction manager that's the conduit for all this?
It's a design build.
Yeah.
So-
They've got three design teams, and each one of these teams is coming up with their own
Different
design. It's
concept.
up to the school board to decide
Right.
which one they want to go with.
I thought they already selected one of them.
Yeah, I thought
Well,
Elder
but-
Gang said that they had
Yeah,
selected.
but according to what they said on the radio, it sounds like they could change as they
Right,
go through
well,
the
see,
process.
That was the thing. They could choose this from this design team, this from this design team, and this from this design team. We still don't really know until we get the final in front of us. This is what's going to go.
What did you say the cost was? $3 for every 1,000?
Right.
Which would be 99,000 instead of 33.
Divided 33 million by 1,000.
It'd be 33.
Is it $1 or is it $3?
It'd be
$3.
three per thousand.
So it'd be 99,000.
So it's close to 100,000.
Closer to
So
the
the
100,000.
100,000 is right.
Mhm.
What's the length of time for construction? Because Kurt's gonna have to take a sleeping bag out there.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
Wendy's and Casey's.
I think that's when you get into hiring.
That's where you may have to hire
consultants.
somebody.
Yeah,
And I think that,
exactly.
if that's the case,
And I don't think you want to waive your fees.
Hire Roger back part-time.
Well, again, I am open to the discussion, but without hard numbers, I'm not comfortable making a recommendation.
I think you're probably looking at somewhere 100,000.
I think they're kind of ahead of the ballgame, aren't they? I mean,
Well, what it is I think these
You
architects
don't
have
get it
to
unless you
factor,
negotiate for it.
they have to factor that cost in to what they present to the school.
If it's factored in, then why get it back?
Exactly.
So,
Does the state waive the fee?
You?
well, I do know that
No, I wouldn't waive the fee.
Brent Lehman's the one that initially brought this up, and he basically made the comment that because, the city, or the state, I'm sorry, the school was, donated Worthman Field to the city, that, maybe the city would be gracious enough to take that into consideration.
Because they got that liability off of their balance sheet.
Yes, and they donated to the city because of the old way that was Decatur High School.
They had
Yeah,
to,
they
if
had
the
to.
city wanted it.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying that was the
Throw in
justification.
Northwest and we'll talk about it.
Um, So,
I would like that. That would go.
if it's, is there a real possibility that we would need to hire somebody to help out with the inspections?
Yes,
I think so.
I think there is, isn't there?
yeah.
That's another question I guess I could ask some of those mayors that I heard from.
Yeah.
Did you hire someone else?
The most that I heard or saw was a 10% reduction because it was a governmental entity.
Yeah.
Does the state inspect that too, or the high school?
I don't know.
That I don't
That
know
could be
either.
my buddy coming down
Yeah, it could be, huh?
here. Yeah.
A 10% would put it at 90,000 rather than 99,000, right?
But-
That's about the
but
value of workmanship.
You would have to have somebody with the right certifications, possibly a professional engineer. You're talking $300 to $1,000 per visit.
At least. Well, they're about
We could hire someone,
$800 a day. You're gonna wanna hire somebody local. You're not gonna wanna call an EPA because that's a 2-hour drive for them.
how about your buddy? The other one that interviewed for your job.
Perry, he's not certified.
Oh, okay.
He's got no certification whatsoever.
Any further input?
Well, I agree with Greg. I don't think we have enough information to make any type of recommendation, but, and if we don't have enough, I mean, if we need to let them know, I would go with not waiving fees because you may need monies to hire consulting or hire an engineer or whatever.
I might encourage Brent and Tim as well, if we see him, just kind of encourage him to let us know as much as he can, and tell him that we're concerned that we may have to hire an outside inspector, and, kind of throw the, I don't want to, in a very kind way, put the ball back in his court, let him know, hey, this is really going to be expensive for us, and, we have to hire someone. We already got a lot of other jobs going on right now. So.
Yeah, those are user fees. They're not revenue, discretionary revenue.
Right. So are you, is a consensus that you're uncomfortable waiving, or that you don't feel that you have enough information to even make a recommendation one way or the other?
That's the way I feel. We just were up in the air too much.
Okay.
To make a decision like that,
Doing nothing is just that.
We have another
Do we
meeting,
have to
we have
respond?
another meeting July 5th. We'll just tell them that if they can give us more specific information, we can do a calculation so that you know what you're looking at, and then you can make a decision whether you want to discount it at all or not.
And in the interim,
So Sharon, do you have enough
contact you guys,
information
you can ask.
to put together a spreadsheet that says this is what we think it's going to be?
I can give you the fee schedule, but without any square footage or estimated budget.
Well, then maybe we have the architect
I was gonna say,
calculate,
put it back in their
based on the
court.
fee schedule, what are they saying the fee's going to be, and then we can consider whether we want to discount that or not.
Okay, I think that's the action that we take.
Okay?
But do they have an architect selected yet?
I have no idea.
That's,
The one design team does have a copy of our fee schedule.
Well, they all should.
Now, I think of those three, they have selected one. But even though they've selected just one, they can still, if there was something from the other one they like, they can take it and implement it. But they have got it down to one, but then that one then has several subcontractors below them. I'll get a list of them.
so do we need a motion?
Yeah.
No, I think we just needed some direction. So I think the direction coming from the plan commission at this point is, we're not going to make a recommendation to council at this point. We need the architect to do a rough calculation of what they anticipate the fee is, and then we will consider whether we will make any adjustment to that fee at our July 5th meeting, assuming they get that information to us in a timely way.
I think they need to make a request of what discount they're asking for.
And if you want, you can tell them that, if they want to specifically request a
And why?
discount, or if they're asking for a complete waiver.
The only one that's mentioned it was that one design. No one from North Adams has mentioned it, so.
Well, Ron Lehman did,
He did?
yes.
To you?
He did in a letter to Scott Ainsworth.
Okay.
Well, and when they get the fee schedule, then they need to let us know what they're using as their numbers to figure out what that fee would be for them, so they can become specific about that. Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.